good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and hello to everybody that is online as well. My name is Kabira Rose, and I have the privilege of heading up the Global Community Engagement team at Lloyds. My wonderful team are responsible for our social impact initiatives, including employee engagement and volunteering. Quick bit of admin, photographs are being taken throughout today's event. So if you don't want to be included, Sarah in my team at the back, if you want to give us a little wave, Sarah, please let her know, and we'll make sure that you're not including those pictures. I'm joined today by some wonderful speakers. We have some dedicated volunteers, our community and volunteering partners, who are here to tell you about why we think volunteering is a key part of not only your personal development, but also how it contributes to your professional careers. But most importantly, we really want to demonstrate how easy it is to get involved, and how to give back to the communities we work and we live in. So some of the very obvious benefits of volunteering include an opportunity to connect with others, developing new skills, and helping you to communicate with a variety of individuals from different backgrounds. But also volunteering has been proven that it's actually really great for your mental health, especially through skills-based volunteering and sharing your experiences. And I'd love to tell you it's completely altruistic, but actually we find that most people that volunteer actually walk away with more than what they've actually given. So as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about volunteering and the impact it has on our communities and our employees. So today is all about trying it out and see if there is something that we can offer you that you can connect with. So if there is one thing I ask you to do today, and you're a small group, I ask you to ask a lot of questions. We want you to walk away, of course, having signed up to something and feeling super inspired, but asking the questions, asking questions will help you figure out the types of people you'd like to support, how much time you're actually willing to commit to, and the skills that you as an individual bring to the table. But before that, we're going to hear from some of our wonderful volunteers who can really bring the experience to life much better than I can. So first up, we'll have Heather Goodhue, who spent the last 40 years in the reinsurance industry, as now a non-exec director for Dual and has many years of experience volunteering at board level. Saiful Uddin is an account manager at Marsh, recently graduating from Goldsmiths with a first-class degree in economics, which is very impressive. He also grew up in Tower Hamlets and now encourages his colleagues to volunteer. We have Zena Lee, who works in internal audit at Everest Re and is a long-time volunteer in the Lloyds market. Zena is super passionate about volunteering and first got involved as a number partner with our community partner, The Switch, and then went on to coordinate her own schemes with volunteers from different companies. And last but not least at all, we have Fred Sumner-Smith, who's a recent graduate from the Lloyds Bursary Programme, and as a result of the engagement with some of the volunteering opportunities, he got a placement and he got an internship at Westfield Specialty, which resulted in a full-time position he has just started. Congratulations. So I'm going to hand over to Heather to kick us off, and then we'll hear some more from some of our speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabira. Hello, everyone. I just thought I'd start by telling you how my path to volunteering started. It was at Aspen Insurance when I joined the charity committee, and I absolutely loved it. It was transformative for me. I met so many impressive and talented people from a range of wonderful charities, and it was fantastic to see what our corporate donations could do for the very many causes we were supporting. But it wasn't just about funding. We were rarely a charity's largest corporate donor, so we found additional ways to support those partners, things like setting up a pro bono coaching for staff of the charities, for offering IT support, discussions on risks as they develop risk registers, as well as many of the more usual opportunities like painting classrooms. Me personally, I really enjoyed when a group of us would go each year to the London Hospital to prepare Santa's Grotto for the children who unfortunately would have to spend the festive season in hospital. It was amazing, and I think they still do this. Really, really valuable. But those additional things also deepened our connections with the organisation, and we got a lot of tremendous feedback on that. So I would say if your company has a charity committee or a CSR committee and a role comes up, I would really encourage you to apply. I personally found it fantastic, wonderful. And in fact, that charity committee role led directly to my first role as a board trustee for a charity through someone I met on the committee. I now co-chair that charity, having taken it through a merger with a similar charity, and I'm a trustee on 2 other charities. So it kicked off internally at Aspen, and it's developed massively. I feel that getting involved was beneficial to me in many ways, not just professionally, but also personally. As I said, I met lots of new people. I expanded my professional networks. I made new friends. I learned new skills, and I'm still learning. I recently, or fairly recently, 18 months ago, joined the Howden Group Foundation, and that's looking at climate adaptation and climate resilience. So I've learned a huge amount about that subject, but it's also offered me, perhaps uniquely, an ability to combine my insurance expertise over too many decades to record, and my charity governance skills. It's been really great. So it's that ongoing learning. Networks. As you build your career, a network is a really important part of that. When I coach people, I talk all the time about expanding your network and try to encourage people to do it. And volunteering is a fantastic way to do this. I'm going to give some specific examples that I know about, but I think across this marketplace, Lloyd's and the other companies, there are going to be loads of examples if you look for them. You can meet people in your own company that you wouldn't otherwise normally come across. So Howden, for example, is very good culture about giving back. It really encourages employees to engage in volunteering opportunities. They have a global month of giving, and I understand, I think it was about over 4,000 hours of volunteering, over 100 charities supported. But at the same time, the people doing that are meeting people across their organization. So you're building your network. Those opportunities were online, CVs, skills writing, workshops, and in person. You can look at mentoring, career insight visits, cleanups, visiting local farms. The range of opportunities is enormous. You can also meet people across the industry. So it's not just in your company, but in companies outside that, again, you wouldn't normally meet. I'm also an ambassador for the Insurance Industry Charitable Foundation. I'll call it IICF to reduce the mouthful. And one of the things I really admire about that organization is their associate board. It's providing opportunities for early career professionals. That's what it's aimed at. People with up to 12 years experience. And I think it allows people to sharpen their leadership skills, expand their network, and meet peers in the industry. So a really interesting thing to do. So you're networking, having fun, while you're providing vital support to amazing charities. The impact that you can have as a volunteer is extraordinary. A new charity where I'm a trustee supports people with dementia and their informal carers. And we couldn't do it without the volunteers we have. I have volunteered also as being a trustee at the Walking Club and the Social Club. I'd like just to do 3 quotes from some of those who've been recently supported by the charity. One from someone who's recently taken on caring responsibilities. It was such a relief to see my mother transform back into her old self. These times are absolutely essential to me and my wife, as it gives us a break from the constant caring. One from an elderly lady who's pretty much on her own. How would I describe life without this support? A nightmare and lonely. And another from someone who's sadly diagnosed with dementia. I was diagnosed last year, and the Good Company Art Club is the highlight of my week. I've made new friends and can continue to be creative. There are so many charities, community interest companies, and other enterprises you can engage with. It offers so much to the beneficiaries and to you personally. I sometimes describe it as something that lets my soul sing. That's the part I love. It's a wonderful thing to do and a real win-win. So get out there and do it. Thank you.
My name is Fred, and I'm much more of a baby within the insurance industry. I've only started this year. I've only been working for 6 weeks, in fact, so my resume is a lot smaller than Heather's. But I wanted to talk about what got me into the industry in the first place, which was through an internship with a company which was called Argo last year. So I got the placement through a charity which gave spaces to working class families, kids from working class families. And that really got my foot in the door in insurance. Without it, it's quite hard. You need to know like connections or have usually family members kind of tell you about it or kind of convince you to go into it. So it was really good to have that opportunity. And while I was there, I was luckily involved in the internal audit team, which you'll hear more about afterwards. But that was really good because it gave me a massive overview of the company. And my manager was really amazing. She put me in touch with each person within the company that might be able to help me or explain different aspects of insurance. And from that, I then applied for a grad role there. And luckily I got the job in pricing, which I was more passionate about, linked more with my degree. And through the generosity of people, I could have conversations throughout my internship. So I knew which areas would interest me, like if it was pricing, reserving, or capital. The second thing I wanted to talk about was how I've been a volunteer myself. So at uni, after this internship, I had my final year, and I went back and was the president of our salsa dancing society, which was really amazing. It was really nice having started in first year with going to the classes and socials to then give back to the people that supported me and were teaching me was amazing. It's a lot more work than some of the stuff Heather was talking about. So for example, every Sunday I had to get up at 9 a.m. and was teaching some beginners a choreography, but it really paid off. And just to see the people develop and grow both in their friendships with each other, in their dancing abilities and in their confidence, it was really amazing. So that was my experience of giving volunteering, but also receiving it, which ended up giving me the job I'm in now. Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Zina. I work at Everest Insurance as a director of internal audit. So how I got involved. So I left home at the age of 14. So my parents sent me away to say, you need to get a good education, and UK is the place to be, because they said you really need to learn English. So I left at quite a young age, and I really value education. I think it's so important for young children to have that opportunity, especially math skills, English skills are, the foundation for them to have a bright future. So then I started researching opportunities, and reading number partners came up. And as a chartered accountant, I knew that, okay, I can perhaps use my math skills to help these young children through doing games. And that's when I started going every Thursday lunchtime to play little games. So for instance, we have these cardboard shaped pizza, we cut them up and we say, okay, what's the fraction? And that way we can teach children in a fun way and engage them in learning maths. And my journey has been amazing in that. So for instance, an example I gave, this little girl called Mercer, in the first term, this group, they were identified as cusp children, and what that means is they're just a little bit behind with where they need to be. So that little bit of extra help would really boost, what they need to do. She came to the class very shy, and she said, "Oh, I don't think I can do this. I'm not sure. Can I just sit in the corner for this time?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. When you feel comfortable and ready, come and join in the game, because if you don't try, you don't know if you enjoy it, or if you can do it." So throughout the term, gradually, she started to come and be more involved. I think by the end of the term, she would join in terms of playing the games with us, and I can see a real confidence in her. And by the second term, we had new students joining that group. And then I think the moment I've just felt so proud when another child who was quite shy said the same thing to Amira, to say, "Oh, I don't think I can do this." And then that's when she said, "Well, if you don't try, you won't know if you can do something or not." I just felt so proud having made that difference in, a child's life, really. I think rather, as well as teaching them math skills, a lot of it is about confidence building, because they don't really get that one-on-one time with, say, a city professional. Often they come from, large household. So during COVID, I was also involved with the initiative of raising fund to help them purchase IT equipment. So a lot of the family have, say, family of 4 children sharing one tablet, which meant they were missing out on, homeschooling. So although Number Partner was on the pause, there were still initiatives going on. Just a little bit more about Number Partners. And the highlight at the end of the academic year is that we organized a little trip for these children to come into the city. We took them to this building, to the Sky Garden, and also to the Lloyd's building. And they just said, "This is absolutely the highlight of our lives. This is amazing." So every year, they would ask, "Can we go on that trip?" And they really, really look forward to it. So I think it's, as well as educating, teaching them a little bit about math. I think just being in the city, seeing that from their lens is fantastic. And as volunteers, it's just a great sense of I've made a little bit of difference. And then throughout that opportunity, I was asked to become the school governor at John Sker, and I also chaired the finance committee. So again, using my math skills to help model some of the budget, set the strategy to say, okay, how can we generate more income? Where should we be spending the money strategically? So again, from but playing games with children to actually helping set the direction of the school, it's just an amazing opportunity to have been asked to do that. So I would say it sounds like maybe a lot of commitment for people, but there are lots of opportunities that, as Heather mentioned, you don't have to commit every week. There are one-off opportunities like the Abacus scheme. So some of you, if you stay behind and go to next door, you get to try out and see how that works. There's interview skill sessions. You can be on Zoom and interview as a young person and help give them feedback to say how can they improve, or even to CV, you can look at the CV and help them modify it so that they have the best chance to apply to the position that they want to be in, like Fred, which benefited. So absolutely passionate about volunteering, lots of ways to get involved. I think, I'll leave it there, and any questions you have afterwards, please come to me. Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone. I don't have a mic, so I thought I'll make sure it's working. Oh, sorry, I think is it working? So good. So hello everyone. My name is Saiful, and I'm a property account manager at Mosh. I've been working for Mosh for just under a year now, and during this speech, I just want to touch on the impact that volunteering has on students. The best example of this is probably myself, and a bit about me is I grew up in Tower Hamlets, and it's where I was introduced to the Switch as a student in year one, so about 6-7 years old. I'm not sure how old year ones are. So I was introduced to the Switch as a primary school student, and now I'm a bit of an ambassador for the programs, and I want to just talk to you about a bit of my experience as a student. So I was fortunate enough to have a reading partner at very early years, and I think a very lovely, touching speech about what it's like to be an adult. But as a student, it's where this volunteer helped me read a book and engaged with me. The impact that had with me was that it helped build my literary skills. I wasn't per se falling behind. I don't know if I was falling behind, but it did teach me that people in suits are very friendly people, and that I can read a book. So definitely it boosts my skills there. The second experience I had was much later. It was the Abacus program, and yes, I was a recipient of that. It's where it taught me very valuable concepts that are integral as an adult. So things like budgeting, credit cards, and inflation, core concepts that you're not taught at school, and the Switch take their time to have a hour session. And I mean, the concept of inflation, when I was creating this speech, I just wanted to have an example. I just remember this one example when I was a student, even now, that the price of flour was like 17 pence or something. I'm thinking nowadays probably closer to a mortgage than 17 pence. So it was nice to know that I still remember things from that session all those years ago. And it also was facilitated with a Bank of England trip as well. So it was nice to get out of the city and get into the city as well and have that experience. And my last flashback, and I promise my last one, it's the Lloyds of London trip. I went to the Lloyds of London as a student, and the trip quite literally changed my life. I remember walking through the halls and looking around and looking at everyone working hard and thinking, this is where I want to be. It was a massive open space building, and there was a big bell. Just remember looking at the old fashioned books and thinking, I still remember everything vividly to this day. So I promise it's a life-changing experience for the students. And if you can have the opportunity to volunteer for the Lloyds of London trip, definitely do that, because that's something I remember the best. And that is the catalyst of why I'm here now. So I knew from that trip, this is where I wanted to be. Fast forward a few years, and now I'm here. The impact of all those wonderful volunteers back then have allowed me to be here right now. Working at Marsh, I've had the opportunity so Marsh has an incentive to have a volunteer month where Marsh encourages us to spend a day volunteering. I remember flicking through the website and seeing the Switch and not knowing what the switch was. Well, it was under a different name, I found out later, but this is where I decided to try being on the flip side of the coin and giving my time to try and inspire children like the volunteers did for me. I took part in multiple events this year, such as Abacus and the workshop with sixth formers. These experiences were very easy to get to. I needed no planning, and it was smooth sailing from when the first moment I went to schools and introduced myself. So yeah, I took part in the Abacus program where I remember one student saying, wanting me to facilitate the Lloyd's of London trip with them. And I really thought, wow, like these children generally just want to have an interaction with people from the city. And these volunteering experiences are the missing link for that. Once you bridge that gap, these students have really a keen interest. And I think when they saw me, they really thought, wow, someone that looks similar towards me. And I had a lot of positive feedback and a very, very valuable experience. So the key, as mentioned, the key to volunteering with students to diminish the barriers to entry to the industry. Some students feel like insurance isn't a good fit for them, and this is where having a diverse panel of volunteers will engage them and definitely give them that belief that this is for them as well. Just wanted to close off my segment and say that I'm grateful for the switch and everything they've done, and I'm grateful for the people back then who inspired me. And I want to emphasize that people at this diving event, for you to be the next batch to inspire the next batch of insurance industry people. So thank you for listening.
I'm not sure I can quite follow that. That was really inspiring. Thank you to all of our speakers. They'll be around for the rest of the event, so if you've got any specific questions for them, please hang around and let them know. And actually, if anybody online just have any questions, pop them into the chat. We'll either try and follow up today or at some point in the following couple of days. Now, moving on to the main event. So as I said, the purpose of today is to give everybody an opportunity to see what volunteering can be like. We aim to show you that volunteering is easy, usually requiring zero preparation. It can be very varied and suit many personality types and interests and impactful. I think our speakers really brought that to life, and how you can have a lasting, often lifelong impact on individuals. So for those of you online, I've been asked to tell you that you now need to click on the link in the chat. We'll be met by Ashana from SEO London, who'll guide you through your volunteering activities. Please do not close, this is in like bold, please do not close the current platform that you're using. You can just join the Zoom link in addition. We good on that front, Sarah? Yep. Yep. And for those of you in the room, I'd like to start by introducing you to Darshana Solanki and Abby Brown from The Switch. They're already actually in the room, and Sam Ridgewell from Empower Development, who I believe is, hi Sam, who'll be facilitating your volunteering activities today. So Darshana and Abby are from The Switch, as I said, an education charity helping young people reach their potential. I think Saiful talked about them, and have worked with Lloyd's for over 30 years. And Sam is a bit of a TikTok sensation, where she uses videos to engage with the next generation of insurance professionals and support social mobility by demystifying the industry. So the way today is going to work is that we have about 45 minutes remaining of the session for you to move between a number of different activities. Sam will be helping people make maybe your first TikTok, maybe not your first TikTok video, sharing your career path, which she'll post on her channel over the next few months to promote the industry to young people. And Darshana and Abby will be sharing some of the activities and games that you would be playing if you volunteer with one of the programs at The Switch. So I think, Sarah, you're taking a few people across to the room where the Switch are, and I'm going to I think we're going to have a small group with Sam to start with, and then everybody else is going to move into the room with The Switch. So Sarah, how do we want to do this? Do we want to have maybe this side to start with? 3, perfect. If we get everybody up, and then we're going to follow Sarah into the room, the bigger room across the way, to do some activities with The Switch. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. So we're going to just very quickly close. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. I just wanted to say thank you all for coming. We hope you enjoyed taking part in today, and we hope you've signed up to everything and you felt inspired by some of our speakers. If you have your phone with you, we do have a QR code that you can pop to the next slide for it. We do have a QR code that you can scan, and it will send you to a link to sign up to our newsletter. But we will be sending some more information out to each of you. I think we have all your emails from the registration. And if there are any follow-up questions or thoughts or comments, we really would love to get your feedback. But just want to say a big thank you for joining us today. And yeah, please do reach out and with more questions. Thanks. Thank you. Good. You're all free to go and enjoy the